All right. Well, the Game Pass may be going away pretty soon based on this. So this is an article coming from IGN basically saying that Microsoft expected Game Pass would have 77 million subscribers, but by now it reportedly only has 30 million as Xbox boss admits the strategy has failed. So this comes from the Wall Street Journal actually, right? They said the Microsoft had expected subscriptions to hit around 77 million this year and currently sitting at 30 million, as revealed by the FTC in the trial that they had back in 2023, which, if I'm not mistaken, was when they tried to acquire Activision, or not try, but they actually acquired Activision. So this is basically when they had the plan of putting Game Pass on basically on every device, right? And as you can see from this chart right here, right there, this is, can I zoom it in? Yes, I can. So this is fiscal year 2023, which right now we're in fiscal year, I believe, 27 actually for them, if I'm not mistaken. I think they just ended 26. I could be wrong, but I will have to double check. Um, so if you guys didn't know, fiscal years tend to move differently than actual years, right? For some businesses, they can be in like, for example, right now we're in the summer. They can be like in their fiscal year, like they can be in the winter. So it's weird how fiscal years work. It varies from corporation to corporation, but nonetheless, as you guys can see, they expected their console subscribers to be around 30 to 40 mil, I want to say, with their PC to be up in the 50 mil range, and then cloud to be up in the 100. So this is actually when they were like going super hard on the this is a Netbots campaign that y'all know Phil Spencer started. And then, once Asha, I forgot her name, I'm sorry, but when she came in, she basically got rid of this whole campaign, and then we ended up having the Xbox logo and all that campaign. But this also comes as they announced early this week that around 3,200 people were going to be laid off from their jobs, right? When 1,600 have gone, right, and the rest followed. So this is also, right, on top of the, let's close this, on top of all these changes, right, that they have happened. So a lot of studios have gone independent with the whole shift in Xbox and Microsoft as a whole, right? Basically making moves to try to regain some of the money they lost from when they acquired Activision. As y'all can know, they acquired Activision, they spent a lot of money, so they had to make changes. That always happens whenever a business acquires new assets. People get fired, positions get cut, all that stuff, because they need to make that money back, right? So one of the moves they made was putting Call of Duty on Game Pass, and they thought, people are gonna subscribe to Game Pass. Game Pass numbers will go up. We make profits. That didn't happen because Black Ops 7 ended up having. It wasn't a bad game. I enjoyed Black Ops 7, but it ended up having a bad taste in people's mouth coming off, Black Ops 6. People kind of got burnt out from, back to back COD titles being of the same franchise. So they kind of shitted on Black Ops 7. But as stated right here, Xbox CEO says Arcane developer of Marvel Blade has begun consultations to review options. So right now, basically, the Blade game is in limbo. Like, we don't know what's happening. Last I've seen, they were going above budget, so it was more of a budget issue when it came to Blade and how that was going down. Xbox CEO says every part of the company will be affected as today layoffs include Activision. Again, like I stated earlier, Microsoft's also being affected, so this could impact Modern Warfare 4 and things with that game. But I highly doubt anything can be impacted with that game, since we're in July. Game drops in October, so we're pretty much in a state where that game is just being ironed out. All the little bugs and all those things are pretty much just being worked on at that point. So we could see a beta, I would say, around like August, maybe September at the latest, but I want to say August, since they have their Fanatics event within the next couple of days, actually on the 16th to the 19th, if I'm not mistaken. So we have that. Um, and then Xbox is moving Minecraft and Candy Crush business units, right, reportedly, instead of being part of content business. So again, right now, the biggest things for Xbox, which is still crazy to me, is Minecraft and Candy Crush. Those are like the two biggest games they have, aside from like Call of Duty and all that stuff. Mostly Candy Crush coming from their like mobile side, which a lot of people play Candy Crush, like older people and all that stuff play on their phone. So that makes sense why Candy Crush has been so big and popular for them. But they also did announce via Bloomberg, I can never say the studio's name, I'm sorry. Bethesda will be overhauled as part of today's changes to focus on key franchises going forward: Fallout, The Elder Scrolls, Doom, Quake, and Wolfenstein. So this is another change that am glad they're making, because something that I thought they should have done, and a lot of people also thought they should have done, was when the Fallout series coming out, right? A game should have dropped along with that series, because it would have just been perfect, right? You got a series that's right now currently hitting with people are enjoying it, and then you just stack up uh, a game on top of that, and just money gets printed out easily for you. So another thing too, Xbox CEO says her goal is to reach 1 billion players daily in the ecosystem. Currently, they're sitting at 1 billion per year. So again, a lot of this comes from mobile, which I'm pretty sure they count on their ecosystem via, Candy Crush, like I said, and other games. There, people can play on that, through the Xbox app and stuff like that. This also would include PC to an extent, and then I'm assuming they're still counting like people playing on the Xbox One, the 360, if anyone's playing on 360. So basically anything that's Xbox related, right? And then, like I stated earlier, a lot of layoffs and all that stuff. Xbox says, betting on Game Pass didn't lead to growth. They need, while those businesses have created meaningful value, they did not grow as expected. So, so at this point, we're repeating, news that I keep mentioning. So, what's currently happening right now with Xbox is a lot of their contracts for third-party games have been essentially frozen. So, from State of Decay, other studios that are not first party, all those contracts are completely frozen. And they actually started to kind of remove games slowly from the day one release they ultimate promised. Biggest example being Call of Duty, right? Like Call of Duty right now, their whole marketing campaign has been let's see if I can find it actually. Show you guys what I mean. So they actually just started to announce that it won't be on Game Pass. Like, yeah, so see, Xbox is also sending notifications to Game Pass subscribers. The Call of Duty Modern Warfare 4 won't be service at launch, but at a holiday 2027. So a whole year after release, right? So they're starting to pull that plug, right? Because again, they're not making much money from Game Pass. They like the article stated earlier that they expected to have 77 million by now, and they're only sitting at 30. So that's like a little bit less than half of what they wanted. And then not only that, but they had to drop Game Pass down because people were not subscribed to Game Pass. What I think the strategy for Microsoft slash Xbox moving forward should be is add quality into Game Pass. Like Game Pass has a lot of games, but realistically, a lot of those games, a lot of people are not playing. Like there's not much quality there. So if we look at Game Pass, right? Let's pull up the catalog. There's not much quality there, to be honest. So it doesn't bring people into it. And then you're taking away, let's see. Kind of wish I would have had this pulled up beforehand. So yeah, let's see. So as you can see, like you have your FIFAs, you have your Call of Duty, yes. You have your whole Call of Duty catalog, you have a couple of day one games, you get the Fortnite crew with Ultimate EA Play games, stuff like that. But aside from that, like people aren't really playing Undisputed. People aren't playing Backrooms like that. Subnautica, okay, if you're younger, maybe you're playing Subnautica. Forza, always been popular. Sea of Thieves, very niche game, I would say, along with Grounded. 2K, I mean, if you already had 2K, you're gonna play 2K and you're not gonna subscribe to Game Pass just to play 2K. At least I don't think. Halo, Master Chief Collection again, something that if you're a die-hard Xbox fan, you probably already play. And then there's just more, couple more titles. So again, there's not much quality of games that a lot of people would want to play and makes you want to subscribe to Game Pass. Like there's not a game on Game Pass that you would say, okay, I need to subscribe for this game. Right. And then with them removing day one games little by little, like there's not really no incentive to want to get Game Pass Ultimate. Like same thing with, I feel like, even though this is an Xbox topic and video, same with Sony, right? Like Sony doesn't really have anything on their like catalog with PlayStation Plus that makes you want to say, okay, I need to subscribe to the highest tier. Because if you already have those games, there's no need for you to subscribe to those high tiers. Like I'm really at the point now to where I feel that if you're an Xbox player, right, you would subscribe at the lowest tier, right? Get the basic needs that you need to play online. You know, you can get Game Pass for $9 right here. Like I said, $10 essentially after tax, 1081 really, depending on your state. And you get access to play online, right? If you're on a console, but if you're on if you're on a PC, you don't even need to pay, right? You just put up the game, you can play, which is the benefit of PC. But there's not much from Game Pass that offers you, you know, good quality to want to subscribe. Like Fortnite crew, if you play Fortnite, like okay, I guess that would be something. Benefits for Warzone, all that stuff. Again, we play Call of Duty. Something I guess cool. Ubisoft classics, which was all like the Assassin's Creed games, all that stuff. Which again, these are games that if you already played, it's not worth subscribing. Like again, I feel like I'm just repeating myself over and over with this. But there's truly no quality with Game Pass, so I can see why they're struggling to make that money. But I just want to make this video real quick just to highlight that we could be seeing the death of Game Pass in real time. And I wouldn't be surprised if the coming of the next gen console, whether it be when we get the announcement at the end of this fall, and then we see the launch coming fall 2027 or somewhere later in next year. I expect Game Pass to be phased out within the next maybe year to 2 years if the numbers keep declining the way they are. Because if their goal was 77 million, right, and they're only sitting at 30 million, with the price of games going up, with them doubling down on just doing digital only games moving forward, and people basically feeling like they're having to subscribe to play games. Um, Essentially because you don't own any games no more, right? I can see people hitting this kind of like point where they're getting fed up with having to pay to play their games monthly, right? This is kind of like a thing we also see with streaming in a sense where people are kind of like, why I gotta get 30 subscriptions just to watch like a couple shows that I enjoy, which again I feel like it's happening like, apples to oranges, but nonetheless it's something that people are getting fed up with just across all of media to where they don't want to have subscriptions, they just want to have their media in a sense. So like I said, I can see Game Pass dying within the next year to 2 years if good changes aren't made. I feel like shutting down a bunch of studios and just canceling a bunch of games ain't the way to go for Microsoft. If they want to make profit, I feel like they need to just take a break, slow down, breathe, and come up with a better strategy. Because right now, like they admitted, this strategy definitely did not work. So it's gonna be interesting to see what Asha does as the CEO of Xbox moving forward. She basically came on not too long ago too and said that gaming has become expensive for the regular gamer, and then they announced a couple of days later price increase, which is wild to me that you would make that statement a couple of days prior and then afterwards increase the price. So again, I don't know what the strategy is for them moving forward, but whatever strategy they're currently working on is definitely not working, and they need to re-strategize because at the rate they're going, like I said, Game Pass is gonna die within the next year or two if prices of things keep going up and inflation keeps hiking up high. It's gonna become a situation to where it's gonna be one of the most expensive hobbies, and that which is gaming. But let me know what y'all think. Let me know what y'all are feeling about this whole situation. I personally feel kind of bad for the developers, but again, I mean, a lot of developers do know what they get into with the current state of gaming and everything going on. Not saying that it's justified and it's their fault, but unfortunately, this is one of those situations that it just is what it is with the gaming industry as a whole right now. But I do hope that things get better for a lot of these developers and they do find work somewhere else and they can take care of the families at the end of the day. Like I said, let me know what y'all think. Uh, where Game Pass should go. If you think Game Pass should be wide, then we should just go back to the old days of like the PS3 and all that stuff. To where you didn't need subscriptions to play games, or if they should just do what I think they should do of scrap a bunch of games down and give us quality over quantity. But like I said, let me know in the comments what y'all think. Like, thumbs up. Y'all know the drill. This has been your boy. Catch you on the next one.